Hi guys, welcome to another video of Highway to Momsville. Today I'm going to be talking to you and having a heart-to-heart with you on all the hard decisions you're going to be making for school. All those public school moms that are going to be first-time homeschoolers that are they're trying to make a decision on what's best for them of sending their kids to school or homeschooling. I'm going to be going over that in today's video. Before that, just hit my red subscribe button and turn it gray if you're not subscribed already. And the bell next to it, hit that as well because that will let you know when I release new videos. I'm going to be releasing new homeschooling videos all the time right now. But in the future, I'm also going to be releasing organizational videos, what I've learned from my 5 kids. And a lot of mommy videos, hence the name Highway to Momsville. And also, just check out the description link below because in that you'll find we also have another YouTube channel called Family for Real that showcases our whole family if you want to see it. We took a break for a couple years, but we're going to be back into it shortly. And then also my husband has started a channel called The Late Night Grind. It's all going to be about stimulus updates and finances. Check all the description links below. That will have all our social media stuff in it. Now let me just get right into it and tell you all about the decision. I know you guys are making some hard decisions here now. There's so many people like on the fence with, do I send my kid to public school? Do I do the virtual learning, which I kind of went over quarantine learning in my past video, the video right before this, that you can go check out. The differences of that compared to sending your kid to school is what I'm talking about today versus homeschool. So one thing that a lot of the people I hear say now is that they're going to be sending their kids to school because their kids really want to go back to school. They really want things to be normal again. The only thing with that is that you want to just have a heart-to-heart with your kids and talk with them because here's the thing. School is not going to be normal. Nothing is normal. I'm doing these quotes a lot. Nothing is normal right now. Nothing. And it won't be normal for a while, unfortunately. Do I like it? No. Even as a homeschool mom, it changes my routine. And I do not like it either. So we're in this together, whether you send your kids to school or you're homeschooled. Nobody's liking this. And they can't wait for things to return back to actual normal. But right now, the choices of going back to school and having it be normal is not an option. It really isn't an option. If we're being honest with each other, it's not going to be the same. Here's some of the differences that you have to consider when you're going to be sending your kid to school. You really need to have a heart-to-heart with your child and let them know that this is what it's going to be like. It's not going to be what they were used to before. And they have to let them make a decision if that's really what they want, because the kids are young and they're basing it on what is normal to them and that they want to go back to normal. Well, that, like I said, is not. I know it's a hard decision either way. It's a hard decision no matter what decision you have to make. But eventually a decision has to be made, and probably pretty quickly here. But just know this, that whatever decision you make, you can go back on anytime you want. You are the parent, you are the decision maker in your house. And you can, if you decide your kids are going to school and then you realize, oh, this is totally not what I thought, you can pull your kid out and start homeschooling whenever. Doesn't have to be a certain time. And if you're homeschooling, if you decide I'm going to try that route, you can homeschool. And if it doesn't work for you, you can pull them out and put them back into the school system whenever you want. Anything can be done because you're the parent, you're the deciding factor. When they say there's deadlines, yes, there's deadlines in choosing the beginning of the school year, but you can always change it throughout the school year whenever you want. Now, being that I know that it's a hard decision either way, you have to consider this when you send your kids back to school. That they will be wearing masks all day. Off and on throughout the day. Maybe there's periodically times when they're eating and doing other things that they can take it off. But you have to be okay with that your kids are going to be wearing masks. And I will say, from somebody that's not going to give a personal opinion of what I think of masks or not think of masks. However, the thing that to consider is, as your child is wearing masks all day, it will in fact raise their carbon monoxide levels, and that's not great for their lungs. Let's face it. The other thing that's not great for them that to consider is all the cleaning products that are going to go into cleaning the school. They're going to be disinfecting things all the time, and you have to consider and think about all the chemicals that they might be using in those disinfectants that are then going to be something your child touches and uses all the time. It's going to be way more than normal. I know before, in the school systems, they've used disinfectants before, but not to this extreme. So that is something also to consider when your child is going back. Also, I know they want to go to school and be around friends, but it's not going to be quite the same because there are going to be social distancing measures that they are going to put into place. There's going to be lack of interaction with others, and it's going to be restricted. It's not going to be quite the same. You still will be able to see people in person. However, it's not going to be, like I said, the normal of what they were used to. There isn't going to be any partners or group work activities, most likely. They want to keep everybody as apart as they can. So just consider that like the science labs and different things like that might look different this year. And, something to consider for especially elementary school kids' ages is that there's not going to be any shared materials such as fuzzy carpets and cozy reading spots. Everything is probably going to be more like, the only thing they're going to probably be touching is stuff that's easy to clean. So all that coziness and home feel that some elementary classrooms might put in there might not look the same. They probably won't be sitting with their friends on the bus, if getting bused at all. I don't know how that's working, but even if they are getting bused, I'm sure they're going to have measures where they have to sit apart and they can't sit with their friends on the bus. And let's face it, if somebody tests positive for COVID-19 at school, which probably is going to happen, is that they're going to pull everybody out, close the school down for 10 days to 2 weeks before they can come back to school. And they're going to keep possibly going back and forth between virtual school and regular school, virtual school, regular school. If you're even given that option, a lot of parents only have the choice of virtual learning right now. But for the people sending their kids to school, this is something to consider. I have a feeling that there's going to be those circumstances where, like I said, they are sick, they get a test, they test positive for COVID-19, they end up sending, saying, oh, we got to cancel school, go back to virtual learning. And do you really want that up and down with your child? I personally think that's very confusing to a child and might be a little bit of a downer as they're going back, rather than like staying with one thing, whether it's virtual learning or homeschooling. It might seem like pretty confusing to the child and affect their learning. The other thing to consider is the fact that they keep talking since the very beginning of COVID-19. They keep talking about a second wave. The second wave is coming. And they keep talking about the second wave in the fall. And let's face it, if they keep talking about it, it's most likely going to happen. Because if they keep talking about it, it's probably because they either want or know that it's going to happen. And I just am throwing out there that I think it's going to happen. So I think that there will be a second wave, and trying to keep my opinions out of this, but I do think that there will be one, and that they will be, if the kids are in school in September, by probably November, they won't be in school, and that second wave will be putting an end to regular school. So that is also something to consider. Now, I have a lot of friends that are talking about like that they've been on the fence with homeschooling, or if they've thought about it, or they've been intrigued by it, and now's a good year to try it, and they are going to try it. And I think one thing that you guys have to consider is the fact that, are you ever going to have such an opportunity again to perhaps try homeschooling? And it is a great time to try it, because the other choices are the back and forth with school, like all those things that I just mentioned with school, or the virtual learning, which I listed in my last video of how that's way different than homeschooling, and how homeschooling is better than virtual learning. Now, virtual learning, like the the school at home is different than like online learning, like doing a charter school, online charter school. I feel like they have it together better and they know what they're doing more, like, because it's not like, the teachers that go to, now I'm not saying the teachers aren't great, and I love teachers, but they're just not used to this whole back and forth virtual learning versus doing the whole classroom setting that they're used to. So I think this is a great year to try homeschooling and see what you think. Like I said, if homeschooling doesn't work, pull them out, put them back in school. You're the parent, you can decide, and this is just a great year to try it. I'm going to do things a little differently right now in the video. I just want to ask you a question, and I'm going to write some things down on the dry erase board for you as to what might make you like lean more towards homeschooling, and something to consider as you're going into the future. I know, like, when I'm saying this all, that homeschooling is not for everybody. And I know some people work and it's really hard. Although I know some people that do work, like my sister-in-law, who does an overnight shift a lot and still fits homeschooling in. But I know it's not for everybody. That's why there's tons of choices everywhere in the world for everything. And so I know that it's not for everybody. But I feel like if a lot of people tried homeschooling, they would realize that it is a great thing and it's not as bad as they thought. So here goes. I'm going to be putting up a video. I'm just going to be setting up my dry erase board for you guys real quick, just to go over some pointers. Hi guys, so I wanted to ask you one thing before you just go into deciding what you want for your children for the year. Is what do you want for your child when they are adults? Some characteristics you want for them that you want them to have when they are adults. This was something that was brought to my attention when I went to a homeschool meeting recently on how to start homeschooling. I went to it even though I have been homeschooling for 8 years. Because the mom that was speaking was a mom that of 8 kids that had homeschooled for 30 years, and I really liked her bringing this exact question up, and so I wanted to share it with you guys since she's not on YouTube, and I appreciated it. Really made me think, and I hope it makes you guys think. So what do you want for your child when they are adults? Some characteristics. So some of the things that were listed when she asked that question to people, here goes. Here were some of the things they said. One was being a free thinker. Another was being confident. Sorry, I don't have the best handwriting, but confident. One was having integrity. So integrity. Another one was self-motivated. There you go, self-motivated. Another one they said was hardworking. I think that's a great one. You want your child to be a hard worker. You don't want them to just give up and, think everything's going to come to them all the time. Another one is being passionate, they said. Passionate. They want their child to be passionate. They also want them to have some drive behind them. And they want them to be inquisitive, always wanting to learn more. So hopefully I spelled that right. So here's like some of the things that people listed that when we were at the meeting that I thought was, great answers. Free thinker, confident, integrity, self-motivated, hardworking, passionate, drive, inquisitive. I'm sure there's others that you guys could think of. List them in the comments below if you have other ones you want to see in your child as they become adults. And, one thing she brought up that made me think was, she said, now take a look at all these answers and really think about the fact that, will they get these at school? If they're at school, sitting in a classroom all day, will they become these things? Now, that's not saying they necessarily won't, but there's more of a chance of them becoming these things that are listed if they are homeschooled, because they're learning more how to, do work on their own, from home, being more independent. They're not getting, they're being more confident because, they aren't getting attacks from other kids at school on their confidence level. They're being free thinkers because they're, learning things that necessarily aren't taught in school. They're being more, like I said, self-motivated because they're doing things on their own from home. Schooling takes a couple hours to do when you're homeschooled. So then you use that rest of that time to sort of be self-motivated and learning your own skills and talents and learning them yourself from home. hardworking because you're helping your family around the house, learning different skills that way. So just, you're learning to ask more questions when you're home. When you're in a classroom setting, you have to be quiet more and listen to the teacher. So when you're home, you can ask more questions and find the answers. So I'm not saying that you cannot get these characteristics when you do go to school, but you are more likely. So that's one thing that the lady at the meeting pointed out, is that she found that when her kids became adults and they went for jobs and applied for jobs, they got jobs actually easier than people when they told them they were homeschooled, because a lot of people, like, for jobs, realize that a lot of homeschoolers have these characteristics, and it becomes easier for them. They think they actually want the homeschoolers for their jobs, even if they're not necessarily completely qualified, because they know that they're going to probably be free thinkers and hard workers and all these different things. So it's just something I wanted to bring to your attention as you're trying to make a decision on what to do. And like I said, I think it's a great time to jump in homeschooling and give it a try. And the worst thing that can happen is that you send your kids back to school. Anyway, guys, hopefully I gave you some things to think about and decide that would maybe help in your decision. It's not easy no matter what you decide. I realize that it's like not something that you had necessarily a great choice about, and you didn't have much time, but you're thrown this. And guys, I think you're great parents no matter what you decide. I think you're gonna make the best of it. It is what you make of it. You can make this a great year even though you're given the choices you're given, the cards that you've been dealt. So I think you're gonna do awesome no matter what. Just keep going with make a decision and run with it. This was a video just to kind of maybe help you see the two ways of doing things. Anyway, if you have more questions on homeschooling, I'm going to be putting out a bunch of homeschooling videos over the next couple months. Join me and I will show you what it's like homeschooling 5 kids over, I have 8 years experience. And I appreciate your comments below. Try to keep it considerate and kind. Everybody has different choices, but tell me what you think about this whole coronavirus, quarantining, like the school, like what they're deciding, and how this changes what you're doing. I want to hear it all. Like, I want to hear how it's changing for you, how you feel about it, and I really would like to hear from you guys, and just see your comments below, as long as you keep it kind. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Anyway, guys, take care. Hopefully it was helpful. See you in my next video in a couple of days. Bye, guys.